thing. It's love it.
Okay. I love it. I love it.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard and I appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard.
The Epstein list is out, and Meghan Markle is not off the hook yet.
Meghan Markle's name just got dragged into yet another explosive scandal. This time, her shady ties to Epstein are finally out in the open.
You know, the BS from Meghan just never seems to stop.
Leaked yacht photos, deleted blogs, and silenced journalists confirm she wasn't just there. She played the game.
So this goes back to her days as a yacht girl, or otherwise known by some people as a porta potty girl.
And now, the internet's tearing down her fairy tale for good.
The best way to identify a pathological liar is they lie about like crazy things.
Like saying that you write an email to your kids every single.
Oh, Meghan, you wanted to be the face of modern royalty, the underdog who rose against the odds, the misunderstood duchess who escaped the cruelty of the British tabloids. But now, girl, you're the main character in a scandal that's so messy, even Buckingham Palace is pretending they don't know you. Let's stop pretending for a second and talk about what's actually going down, because your little fairy tale, it's got more plot holes than a low-budget drama.
And writing the newsletters and writing the social media captions and making sure that all that feels in line and what's the cadence of it.
Yes, the work ethic must just be grueling, writing social media captions, deciding what she's going to wear.
And you know what kicked it all into overdrive? Joe Rogan. Yep, Joe freaking Rogan, the guy who's allergic to political correctness and has the entire internet on speed dial, came out swinging in May 2024. He didn't just drop hints, he detonated them. The moment Rogan dragged Meghan's name into the same sentence as Epstein, yacht parties, and fake titles, the internet lit up like the 4th of July.
And the moment that everything sells out, it doesn't mean that we're done. It means we're working on replenishment and what are the next SKUs and what's the next tranche of products and what's the time.
Suddenly, people who were quiet before, they're not quiet anymore. Journalists who stayed silent out of fear or a fat media deal, now they're naming names. Even her fans, yes, those fans, are starting to jump ship like rats on the Titanic. Because what used to be dismissed as just online trolls is now being confirmed by people with credentials. Credentials that matter. We're talking mainstream newsrooms, investigative journalists.
Yes, the work ethic must just be grueling, writing social media captions, deciding what she's going to wear.
Editors who are done playing palace fetch. They've got screenshots, phone logs, photo archives, all of it. These are not random Reddit posts anymore. These are the kinds of people who don't go public unless their legal team says, yeah, you're solid.
I mean, this is all a stage, you know, this is all just Meghan Markle's stage. We're expected to buy it. But she said she was in the trenches. She alludes to being in the trenches when she was in the British royal family.
And Meghan's team? Oh, they're panicking. In 2024 alone, multiple outlets confirmed that her reps sent legal threats or offered exclusive access to scrub her history from the internet. Let's just call it what it is, bribery with a side of panic. There were offers of early Netflix access, unreleased photos, even one-on-one interviews, but only if the reporters forgot about the yacht party years. If there's nothing to hide, why the NDA level drama?
Let's chat about Meghan Markle. She couldn't be more cringe if she tried.
And speaking of yacht parties, let's dive into that dirty ocean, shall we? Meghan's struggling actress narrative is the biggest con job since Fyre Festival. She wasn't hustling for roles the way most people think. No, she was strategically climbing. And by strategically, I mean attending yacht parties that weren't exactly about sipping champagne under the moonlight.
I mean, when I listen to Meghan, I am just reminded that there's nothing authentic there. She went on to say she's now the happiest she's ever been. She claims to be this entrepreneur without really acknowledging that her level of fame is because she married a prince.
These were networking events for the ultra-rich, and we're not talking about talent agents and casting directors. We're talking billionaires, oil tycoons, foreign royalty, political puppeteers, and yes, Epstein's crew. And no, she wasn't someone's shy little plus one. Sources, multiple, say Meghan worked those rooms like a trained political assassin. She knew exactly where to stand for the right camera angle, who to talk to for future access, and who to avoid like a bad investment.
She is relentless, she is shameless, and she is exhausting. You are not a successful female entrepreneur.
People who were there, People who are now cooperating in formal investigations name her. They remember her being strategically present, not just casually attending. There is a difference, and she played it like chess, not checkers. But it gets better. According to 3 insiders in the entertainment industry, Meghan had an obsessive grip on her public image even back then.
I mean, this is all a stage. This is all just Meghan Markle's stage. We're expected to buy it. But she said she was in the trenches. She alludes to being in the trenches when she was in the British royal family. Girl, you lived in a castle. Like, you got a princess title. People were falling at your feet. People would run your bathwater for you. I mean, I could list the perks. I could list them forever. The trenches, she has got to, the Delulu is on another level. Sometimes I envy it.
We're talking about her calling photographers to remove pictures where she didn't like her hair, begging editors to cut articles that mentioned certain names, and personally reaching out to blogs that dared say anything outside of her approved script. And this was before she married into royalty. Imagine the ego.
I've been given so many opportunities because of my proximity to the British royal family that I have spoken so horribly about. I tormented the Queen in the last few years of her life. I tormented Prince Philip in the last few years.
These yacht parties weren't some cute influencer trips. They were Epstein-adjacent playgrounds where the global elite mingled under the illusion of glamour. Europe, the Caribbean, you name it. And Meghan was right there, documented, photographed, whispered about. Her name popped up again and again from people who would later testify, cooperate, or distance themselves from Epstein's mess altogether. Not because she did anything illegal, but because her proximity to that power grid is way too real to keep ignoring.
She do love to throw people under the bus. She has no loyalty and she has no backbone, so she's perfect. Now, a couple things stood out to me.
But wait, there's more. Meghan didn't just hide her past. She tried to rewrite it entirely. Old blog posts from the TIG, gone. Interviews where she bragged about certain friends, vanished. And then you've got the royal insiders, those poor palace staffers, who were told, and I quote, nothing in her past would raise flags. Now those same insiders are reportedly furious and blindsided. Imagine finding out the Duchess you vouched for might have spent her weekends rubbing elbows with Epstein's orbit.
She broke down in tears, speaking about being a mother and about love languages, and she took another swipe at the royal family, suggesting that really being part of the royal family was being in the trenches. Take a listen.
And you want to talk about empowerment? Meghan built her whole new identity around feminism and braking systems. But behind the scenes, she was allegedly trying to silence female journalists, threaten editors, and pay off anyone who dared speak up. That's not feminism. That's dictatorship wrapped in a pink power suit. You can't be the face of female empowerment and the queen of media manipulation at the same time. Pick a lane.
With Love Meghan, and then being in edits for the podcast, and being a mom and a wife and a friend.
If Meghan had just owned it, said, yeah, I made choices and I grew, she might have actually gained some respect. But no, she denied. She deleted. She deflected. And now the past she worked so hard to bury is digging itself up with a shovel. By 2025, at least 3 individuals now under renewed legal scrutiny were confirmed to have hosted or attended events where Meghan was either photographed or spotted doing what she does best, networking like her rent depended on it.
So Meghan Markle takes yet another swipe at the royal family and then decides to go on this huge rant, almost out of breath there, detailing every bit of work that she does. Being one of the most privileged people on the planet, she still won't talk about how hardworking she is, which includes coming up with Instagram captions.
And guess what? Her name isn't just floating in the air anymore. Journalists are reviewing archived Epstein party logs, and her name is right there, consistently showing up alongside the same social clusters that Epstein used to build his global operations. These weren't +1 sightings. These were curated guest lists with Meghan smack in the middle of it, sipping wine with the power elite while pretending she was just another struggling actress waiting for her big break.
We never hear other real leaders talking about how hard they work. You just see it in their actions. But for Meghan Markle, of course, she's the exception, Kinsey.
But we're not done. Several former yacht hosts have since been subpoenaed or interrogated, and guess who they remember attending these elite networking events? Meghan. She wasn't a random guest. She was remembered. She was seen. She was noted. These are the people she chose to align with when nobody was watching. Except now, everyone's watching. And those early associations are setting off every red flag imaginable. You want a real cherry on top?
Miss Markle was a close companion to Prince Andrew and therefore probably saw what he did. That's wild to me. When would she have seen what he did?
Let's talk about the 2014 Caribbean yacht gathering, a luxury trip that's now blowing up in her face. Meghan was allegedly there, seen with 2 known Epstein donors, names that have since been linked to campaign funding scandals, sex trafficking rumors, and offshore shell company dealings. The photos? Supposedly deleted. But guess what just leaked online? Yep, screenshots. And they're ugly.
So this goes back to her days as a yacht girl, or otherwise known by some people as a porta potty girl, where she was associating with Prince Andrew, allegedly for legal purposes. But then I thought to myself, how did Meghan Markle really meet Prince Harry?
There's a difference between ambition and desperation, and she's in the danger zone. She didn't just brush against Epstein's circle, she waltzed through it like it was a red carpet event, posing like she was campaigning for most likely to social climb her way into a crown. And now, the internet is asking what the palace should have asked a long time ago. How deep does this go?
That's wild to me. When would she have seen what he did to Virginia Giuffre? So this goes back to her days as a yacht girl.
And now even Hollywood's turned its back. Former assistants, gone, ex-producers, radio silent, collaborators, ducking her calls. And here's the best part. 3 of them are reportedly in talks for a tell-all documentary. Can you imagine the Netflix notification for that? You watched Harry and Meghan. Now watch Hollywood and hypocrisy. She wanted fame. Well, now she's gonna get it. Just not the way she planned.
Does Harry actually know how he was introduced to Meghan Markle and how she just popped up out of the blue sky in Harry's orbit? It seemed very unnatural that she could even say that.
At this point, Meghan's flawless narrative has shattered like a dropped tiara. What's left? A twisted mess of ambition disguised as victimhood, and media manipulation dressed up as female empowerment. She stood on stages preaching truth and transparency while sending legal threats to anyone who remembered the yacht parties. That's not feminism. That's fiction with a good stylist.
Said he believed that Miss Markle could be expected to tell the truth. Her truth, of course. Anyway.
This was never about judging her past. Everyone has a past. The issue is the cover-up, the gaslighting, and the way she tried to weaponize victimhood for branding. And the people calling her out now? They're not haters. They're the same people she used, ghosted, and steamrolled on her climb to royalty. And now, the public doesn't want the PR version of Meghan anymore. They want raw, ugly, unfiltered truth. But Meghan, she still thinks she's starring in a feel-good docuseries. Honey, this isn't Suits. This is a slow-motion PR car crash. And every time you stay silent, someone else takes the mic. The mask has slipped. Now tell us what you think. Is this the end of Meghan's fairy tale? Hit that subscribe button for more truth they don't want you to hear.